Okay.
How do, everyone? Yes, that time again, that fantastic time again where we can just kind of relax and chill out and just think about gardening, think about what we're going to do in the garden and everything like that. JB!
Hello,
Now,
hello.
funny enough, JB, you said you had a power meeting and you must have, I think you must have
Finished
just kind
early.
finished
Finished
early.
in 10 minutes. Half an hour meeting, finished in 10 minutes. The dream, that is the absolute dream.
It's the dream.
Well, it's lovely. As anyone can see, Jess is not here, but Jess is actually struggling to get online. She says she's having this, but she will join if she can. Technical issues with Jess. I've got loads to talk about with Jess as well. It's been a bad week for Jess. It's been a bad week.
Oh,
Not good.
yeah.
Not good.
Oh,
But Audrey,
Yes.
lovely to see you.
yes. Good morning.
Fantastic. Now, just
Good
before I
afternoon.
press record, good tomato harvest is coming in from you, is it? I hear?
Yes, yes.
Mm.
It's almost time to start freezing them.
Right.
get
So
a big batch and-
is the production line going now? Is it? Are they just kind of coming straight in
They're
and then?
coming in. They're coming in. It's still a little slow, but
Oh.
I want to keep them. So we're eating as much as we can fresh, but you can only eat so many fresh tomatoes.
Oh, I know.
So one of the jobs this week is cleaning out part of the freezer, so that I can stash all my tomatoes till they're ready.
Well, it's funny, Audrey. You know how I was saying this show today might not last as long, JB, because we're going tent hunting. We're getting dragged into going camping again at my age. But
Proper tent camping? That's
Tent-
not Tony style. Where's
I
your
know.
Airbnb?
I know
Exactly.
Well, funny enough, that was my argument because Melanie said because we've been in these Airbnbs, all this.
Yeah.
And Melanie
Yeah.
said a few years ago that was the goal. That was, all these little daft little weekends away. But for some reason, our friends have getting a camper van, and we're not going to go down the route of getting a camper van, but we still like to go out with our friends. So this is the next best or the cheapest thing. So where was this story going? So
Wait, so, sorry, are you telling me that they're going to be there in their camper van and you're going to be pitched up outside in a tent?
in a tent. It's a little.
You're going to be
little-
jealous. I'd be jealous.
It's a little camper van, you know what I mean? So you couldn't get us all in anyways, you know what I mean? It's a kind of little pop-up one. So we were thinking about it, but you know what I'm like? I kind of frightened Melanie when I was looking at them, because I was looking at 60, 70 grand camper vans, with like a double bed that kind of came from the ceiling, you know what I mean? And it was honestly, I walked round. Oh, Jess, there we are. We'll chat about that later. Jess, we are live in the house.
Oh my goodness, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh.
We're good.
I'm on the iPad. The computer's just decided it's not having any of it.
Wow. Well, you're here. That's what
Yeah.
counts.
This is the cherry on the top of your week, isn't it?
Oh, bloody is.
You know what, as well, Jess? I know it's like it's just, but there is a new. Have you seen just Apple's? There's rumors Apple's going to do a new iPad Mini the size of like Apple TV, with like the size of a cigarette box.
Why?
The power of like, you know what I mean, to run.
Why? Why would you want?
Why
the
would you
phone?
want-
Yeah, I mean,
Why
it's
would
a
you want a
phone.
big? Oh man, God! Have you seen the clutter? Oh, I mean, I don't personally need one, but that's not the
Well,
same.
you'll get one anyway.
Yeah, that's not the same. You know what I mean? That's not the argument. Jess, I've got so much to talk to you about. So, we were talking about camping and everything like that, but I'll try and get back to that if we do, because we might have to like jump away early. But it's been a bad week, Jess. I'll be honest for you. It's been about, and to be honest, it's almost like now in our potty mouth little private chat that every day we get a picture of destruction and damage from Jess. I've got one here. If I can just, can anyone? So, and it's almost like I say, Jess. It's like almost the way I'm thinking now is, have you done something to like the Queen Fox round there? Because every fox round in that bloody down south seems to be like getting a little bit annoyed with you. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I don't know what
That's so sad.
Of some fox, I can tell you, like I don't know what's going on. It does feel like a vendetta at the moment. Like, it's personal. Yeah.
Are we saving? So go on, Audrey. I'm just kind of.
I was going to say, because she threw those balls of, what was that full of, down their little hole, and now they're pissed, and they've let all their friends know.
For making them move house. Yeah.
Yes. And they're like, oh, no, we'll move house, but we're going to live here.
Are they damaging your netting and everything like that as well, Jess? Or are they trying to get to the veg and trample over the veg?
They're just trying to get into the beds.
It's just bizarre.
So this week's video, I've just finished editing the vlog that's coming out straight after this, and I had to just tack a bit on the end because it was so depressing. I was like, I can't leave it like this. This is just awful.
Yeah.
So I jollied it up a bit at the end, but they're just getting in and just trashing everything. But they're not eating any plants or anything. They're just going for it. And then I thought, kind of the beginning of the vlog is quite clearly like it's obviously the bloodfish and bone. So I'll stop using the bloodfish and bone. But by the end of the week, they'd gone for every bed, all the ones that didn't have bloodfish and bone in it and everything. So I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably just worms, right? Like, because I thought it was bloodfish and bone on mine for quite a long time. So I switched to like pelleted fertilizer. And then I was like, oh, maybe that still attracts them as well. So then I stopped. But they still dig around. They're still just out to get you.
Yeah. But they've been on, like, the last couple of days has just been absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Mum's just gone up there now to do a bit of watering, so I'm just waiting for the telephone call to be like, they've done it again. There's nothing left. It's just...
Wow. You need to start camping.
Yeah,
Get Tony to send you some tent recommendations and start camping.
Look at what tents now, Jess. We might get a discount if we get two together.
What? My back is hurting just thinking about you tent camping. I'm like, there was a time for that, and we did it a lot when our kids were little, but we were a little more rubber back then, so we could do things like that. But now I'm like, no.
Audrey,
I want like a little bell I can ring, and somebody comes and gets me something.
Audrey, if you see me trying to get up off my back, it's just like embarrassing. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
So there's all complications, but again, happy wife, happy life. Just, you know what I mean. So, Jess,
I have to work that a little more. I don't think like that, so I'm thinking.
That angle's strong enough, Audrey.
Yes, I think I need to ask sadder more. Oh.
Anyway, Jess, what? I don't know what the answer is, because it's like, what do you do? Do you know? Is it?
Nor do I. I've been looking at. Do you remember? I don't know if you watched it when I did the video ages ago now. That was like the history of our plot and like how long we've had it. And I had a lot of photographs of. Actually, I've got them here. Hold on, one moment, chat.
Amazing. That was such a good video. That one, really well put together with all the old.
All of the allotment used to be all covered in. I don't know. Can you see that?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
covered in cages. Wow. Like the whole thing was caged. Because there used to be rabbits on the site, and the rabbits it was just like a plague. Like you couldn't have anything on there, so everything had to be caged. And then the rabbits disappeared when we had that big myxomatosis thing. Like the whole lot just disappeared, like in a couple of months, and that was it. And they've never come back. I mean, luckily, but I think we're going back to this. Like, I'm going to have to. I mean, in this case, the netting was that really super fine green stuff, like the stretchy green stuff that I mean, a fox would just go through that in a second. But if I kind of do it with stronger netting,
chainmail.
Chainmail out with barbed wire detailing. Yeah.
Chris says, I bet the foxes ate the rabbits. Are they digging under this netting of yours? Are they actually ripping the netting?
They're not ripping the netting. They are nuzzling it, because you can see where, even when we've rolled it and pinned it, they're finding any little way to get in, and you can see they've been like digging around in the grass itself, and then they get up under. And I think what's also happening is because the netting is still in place, I think they're getting in there and then they're like trapped inside.
Oh, right.
So it gets even worse. And then and then they're like on a rampage to try and get out. So
wild.
Man.
You could try. I had a lot of recommendations for lion poo, which sounds like a joke. It sounds like a joke.
We used to sell it.
Yeah.
We've talked about it. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, but I mean, we never found it to work. We used to use it to try because the foxes used to at the garden centre. They used to come in, and I think we said this before. They used to come in and rip through all the bags of compost like before they had been sold, which wasn't so great. So we tried to use the lion poo for that, but didn't seem to have much of an effect.
I mean, I tell you what did have an effect we had cats crapping on with house plants outside, and you remember I mentioned that green stuff you get from like Pets at Home. It's like a lumpy jelly kind of, and it's got. Is that what it's called? You know what I mean? And just kind of squirt that round, and it kept the cats away. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know how organic or anything like that it is, but it's getting to the point now just where you might not bring anything home like veg wise, this like that kind of crop, because it's
getting a little bit ridiculous at the moment.
Mine's always been low level enough that I've been able to kind of tolerate it, but if it was getting to if I was dealing with what you were, it was just I'd be looking at something stronger, I think.
Good.
Anything to There's Jason's just posted in the chat.
I can't see the chat. I'm on the iPad.
Which might have been what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Get Scoot. Mine, like I say, Jess, it worked. You know what I mean? And I know it looks like green fluorescent stuff, but it's certainly...
I know the stuff. The problem that I'm dealing with, or that I feel like is the biggest problem I've got, is that it's not a small area to try and protect. Do you know what I mean? Like it's whatever it is, 38 meters by 12 meters. Like everything I've been looking at, whether it's fencing or smelly stuff or whatever, to cover that, to protect that amount of space. As it is, I mean, it's a standard allotment size, but every time we try and do something on the scale of a whole allotment, it just it racks up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I guess with Scoot, that's only like a one-shot temporary thing. Do you know what I mean? It might rain a few times and then it's kind of getting a bit... Well, at least if you went back to your wooden frame, it's going to be a massive initial hit. But at least you can think, you know what I mean, keep the little buggers out. But
yeah, it's a more permanent thing.
I know, but it's hard to see it turn into a fortress, isn't it?
It is.
Part of it is you want to see the things growing.
I know. Yeah.
That's sad.
Any ideas then in the comments? That would be lovely, both now and at the 7 o'clock, if anyone can help Jess out, because I think we're running out of ideas and options here. Do you know what I mean? It's just
so difficult. Yeah. I think physical defense is like the last thing, isn't it? And I've used
I've been using the citronella spray around the edge of the plot, and funnily enough, I think that's really worked for the badgers, because we had badgers like making latrines up the side of our path, and we had a couple of issues with the badgers, but since I've been using the citronella, the badgers have really like just disappeared. They've gone down to the other side of the site, but the foxes just don't seem to be that bothered about it. No,
and it definitely is foxes, Jess. We can definitely see it's foxes.
I've been counting, because the destruction this time, I was like, this is getting a bit extreme for foxes, like surely, because they took up, those big metal cage things that I've got over the beds. They just kicked them to pieces, like they were all over the show. So I was thinking maybe it was a blooming badger. But I've been looking at the footprints. It's definitely like it's identifiably fox prints. So
wow.
I think one of them got a right old clatter on the head because they've got inside the metal and then pinged it from the side, and the whole thing's will have collapsed down on top of them. So I'm hoping they were really got their ear caught in it or something.
Yeah.
I think what you say though, Jess, is that I think that's a good point you made there though. If once the foxes get in, the panic to get out, and that's probably where the whole tramply damage thing is. You know, it's obviously a fun and games until they get trapped. Then it's just their senses kick in. And,
What about because you've got
nets.
Well, you've got raised beds, and I was thinking you could get some of the wire mesh. You know, the kind of thing people use for frames quite a lot of the time, like I've got for the sweet peas. And you could, if you just lay that on the soil, it will be like not nearly as obtrusive as you know, having like a full-on fortress going on, but it should be enough to stop them digging.
Do you mean like pig netting kind of thing, Jibby? Like,
well, like the square, you know, square weld mesh netting.
Yeah, I mean, if it was wide enough to plant through, could definitely.
Or you could just, you get it either wide enough to plant through, or you just remove it while you're doing your planting, and then kind of slot it back on and find the right.
Yeah, maybe that would be a better option.
That's what I've been doing on a lot of my beds, because I've just got like random bits of offcuts and that kind of thing from various bits and jobs, and I've just chuck the mesh on there and hope for the best. Like I've got a pumpkin that's like now fully formed. I'm just like, just put a whole mesh on it. It just doesn't matter if you squash the plant; it'll grow around it, grow through it. But it seems to work okay.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Jess, there is some comments coming in from everyone in the chat. Pete's saying,
I can't see the chat this week, so you'll have to.
Right, well, Pete says, Pete in the orchard has just went off there saying creosote, an old deterrent was creosote soaked rags.
Oh.
So, do you know what I mean? Just like, but can you get creosote? Well, I suppose you can get like a milder version.
It's similar.
Of it.
Yeah.
That might be a good idea there. Like,
that might be a good idea.
Allotted chef saying extra hot chili powder sprinkled over the beds helped me. It helped him. So
do you know what? I a couple of years ago, it must have been, somebody recommended that to me. I think, I can't remember, it might have been for the rats even. And the problem I had is I went off to the Indian supermarket and bought this massive bag of chili powder and scattered it around, and then proceeded to, every time I planted something, I rubbed it into my own eyes. And it was hell. Everything I touched, I was covered in the stuff. So it was like a really effective deterrent, but for me. So other people
do the perimeter. Do the outside of the bed, not the whole
every
thing.
time I was like, oh shit.
Well, I don't know. What?
I can imagine that would really work though, because if they're snuffling around in the soil, like, you're not going to want chili pepper up in, are you?
Just out of curiosity, I know we're kind of, but the picture I showed, I'll put it up again. Could we not just 1 second, just a little, you know, it's me age there. Just take that. I guess that netting's on there for butterflies and stuff, like, you know, and caterpillars and pigeons. Could you not take a chance with that rather than the foxes totally destroying it? Just have no netting.
Well, if there's no netting, they just turf everything out onto the paths. At least the netting keeps it all in the bed.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 sec. Oh my God.
Buggers. Absolute buggers.
It's a pest. I mean, I think this week I'm just going to actually, sorry, I've got to plug you in. This week I've got, I'm just going to have a real think about what, I'm having a look at like pricing up options and stuff, because anything you do when you've got to scale it up, it suddenly becomes really expensive. And we've got like 21 raised beds. So anything that, if you were going to cover that, huge expense, so you don't want to get it wrong. But yeah,
well, that's the thing as well, Jess. You cannot really just get cheapy stuff, because that ain't going to last. So you're going to waste. You know, it's got to be kind of quality stuff, and that just wood. The price of wood at the minute is just stupid.
It's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. So,
hey-ho.
I guess the trade-off is: do you try and protect every bed, or do you just try and protect the perimeter of the allotment? Because it's probably cheaper to actually go for the perimeter of the allotment, especially if you know where they're coming in. Yeah,
well, they're coming in everywhere.
All right, yeah.
There's on both Well, literally on both sides of us, we've got the path and the school on one side, on one long side, and there's foxholes all in there and tunnels going under the fence. So they're coming from that side. The allotment next door to us is abandoned and has got 2 fox dens in it on one side. The plot behind us has got a fox den right there. So they are everywhere. Like, I don't really know what the... Basically, I don't know. I
like the idea of creosote rags as a temporary.
Yeah, I was thinking you could like tie them, because part of the problem I've been having with the citronella is that you spray it, or the peppermint oil, or whichever one you're using, you spray it, and then it dissipates, with the rain or whatnot. But if it was rags, and actually somebody last week suggested to me that I use, citronella candles, and just grate the candles around the edge, because the wax itself would hold on to the smell.
That's a good idea.
I'm thinking about having a go with that, and rags tied onto the perimeter, soaked in something might work. Yeah.
Well, yes. Again, if anyone wants to kind of help Jess out, put some comments.
If anybody wants to do the night shift on my allotment,
or do a night shift.
I'm well up for that. I'll put the sign-up sheet on. So.
I love the idea, Jess, that last week you even dropped the bloody camera to take the, you know what I mean? It's just not your kind of... Anyways.
Well, Tony, you're going to have a new tent, so you could do the night shift.
I could do the night shift,
I think I've missed the thing about the tent. I missed the beginning. Where are you going camping?
Well, no, Jess, what I'm saying is we might not be on as long today, because we've got to go to go outdoors and go tent hunting. Our friends are going camping at the weekend, and I've put my foot down so much this year, just physically as well. You know what I mean? It's like it's a bit more awkward for me nowadays to kind of do things, because I've got to be off the ground with a bit of gravity, if you know where I'm going. So, but it's all, you know what I mean? We will see. But might actually do a video of it and see what it goes. I was talking, I haven't actually got a picture, but I just want to kind of blow my own trumpet. It was actually Ian from Grown Local was saying this morning that, I don't know if anyone's seen, I did a video, I think it was yesterday, where I pulled one of my red cabbages, just not to rub it in, mind you. And
you pulled 2 really pretty ones.
Yes, I've been pulling red cabbages on my top too.
Yeah. But what he did say was that, which was quite funny, that Charlie Dowden is having a bit of bad luck on mine were apparently better. Mine were better than Charlie's.
Wow! Oh, wow! That's saying something.
But this was the same video I think I did where I started to give up on no dig, and I started to dig up. I started to dig up my beds. So I'm getting frustrated with the no dig and the weeds still coming. And I mean, they'll still come with no dig, but we will. It's just to be honest, it was just a YouTube title that seemed to work. You know what I mean? I'm done with no dig. I think that's what it was. But yes, no, I've had a good little run with cabbages and brassicas I had a great run with the cauliflowers. I don't know if it was just kind of timing or anything. So
you're spacing. What about that spacing?
Spacing.
Well, you're right. Yeah, I forgot all about that spacing.
It was your veg plotter influence.
And I haven't put 2 and 2 together there. Yeah. Well, there you go. Converted. Is anyone else having? Jess, you don't have to answer this. It's all right. JB, you can have a little break now, Jess, for 5 minutes.
It's not relevant to me. I'll just go under here.
JB, have we getting any? Are we? Because we talked about tomatoes as we're all being tomato. Anything in the brassica section coming through or not? Or
yes. So do you know what? I've had a generally speaking, that across the entire year, it's been awful for brassicas, because I had a real issue with like seed germinating or seeds not germinating, and then the ones that did germinate were super slow. So I did get a lot of green stuff out, green cabbages, and they were a bit crap. They weren't looking too good, and they've just kind of sat there, and they have headed up, but they're little dinky ones. It's fine. It's still a harvest. but they're not going to win any prizes, that's for sure. But the red cabbages, which are put in much later sowing, incredible. They haven't started heading up yet, but they are huge. They are growing properly, and it's just really, really nice to see.
You know what? Because my labels have all went to shit. You know what I mean? My labels, so I don't know what they were. I'm sure they were both off. Like were yours from grown local then, JB? These red cabbages.
I don't remember. I think they might have been a last-minute garden centre purchase.
Are they pointy ones or are they round?
I don't know yet because they haven't gone
pointy.
to.
Mine, well, one's pointy, one's round.
Mine is. I think mine is Calabos.
Yeah. That's a nice cabbage.
Yeah. But I can't remember where they were from. I don't know. I don't like looking at the idea of just opening my seed box at the moment is like anxiety inducing. I don't want to look in there. I don't want to. It's just be very apparent all the sowing that I've not done. So I don't want to open it. But yes, the red cabbage is looking really nice at least. And there's one Savoy that looks like it's going to be quite good.
Oh, right. Yeah, mine's coming out. My Savoy was bought in from a garden centre, so it's going to take all the kind of credit for that. Audrey, anything?
I've got several red cabbage that I think are... I don't even want to say this out loud because I think we're going to try to harvest them tomorrow. And when I say that, it seems like that's when the rabbits come in and do their thing.
Maybe you should just run and pick them now.
Yeah, maybe I should just get my hiney out there today. So those are looking very good. Trying to think of brassica. I'm kind of I'm just going to buy brassicas. Like in the future, there's so much work to keep them healthy and keep the worms off and keep the caterpillars off. But I do find that the reds do better. So if I grow any, they'll all be purple. I'm not going to grow any more green cabbage.
Is there anything you could recommend I can do with me red cabbage apart from boil it and you know what I mean? Have you a nice like braised red or steam it or whatever?
Oh, I would roast it before I would boil it. I'm not a boiler.
Ooh. Right.
Yeah, I don't boil much. Roasted, and you can do that with onions or with one of JB's favorite with some fennel. Very nice. And you can add
give a little
apples.
sneak. Audrey, give us a little sneak.
You can add apple, so you make like that sweet and sour German kind of red cabbage, which is lovely.
I would quarter me pointy one in a roasting tray, olive oil, salt, yeah.
Yeah. Little pepper.
Anything else?
Little pepper.
Little chili pepper. Always.
I always like cabbage a little more savory than hot. You know what?
They're not opposites. You can have both.
Well, I know, but I prefer like more classic cabbage.
Classic, yeah. You know, I'm a degenerate. I will add chili pepper into everything.
Unless it's sauerkraut or kimchi, I like it kind of classic. But it's nice roasted with apples. That's very nice. And onions and apples. That's really a nice combo with cabbage.
What were you saying there, in a pan. Jess? Were you saying shred it?
Do it the same way, in the same flavour combination with the onions and the apple, but I would do it in a pan, so really fine shred it.
Right.
Butter, garlic, cubed apple, onion, and then throw the cabbage in with a splash of apple juice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Or either apple cider vinegar too works.
Yeah, and a dash of vinegar at the end. Just a
little bit of acid really helps.
Right.
Making me hungry. Very rude.
Always cabbage chat.
Very rude.
Jess, are you ready?
No.
Are you ready?
I don't know what it's for. I'm not ready. Yes!
Oh! Live on air.
Don't even mess around. Hand it here and I'll show you what to do with it.
Well, actually, if this one doesn't work, because I bought another one, so I've got that one as well. So,
Oh no, they don't work. Those ones really don't work.
oh,
You should have checked first.
should have
Those,
asked.
I'm not. When my first one of the other ones broke, I bought one of them instead, and I was like, "What is this?" So I went back to the other one.
Right, so. Right.
This
Right.
is amazing.
So I'm going to open it like that.
No,
yeah?
no, no! Don't open it. Don't open it. Just nick the end off the top on the blade. Just a little bit. Nick. Ding.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
Now feed it through. Don't open the thing. Just feed it through. So
Feed
put
it
it
through
in. Put it in the long ways first. You know,
What do you mean?
it's oval shaped, and
Yeah.
your bean is oval shaped. Put it that
Like
way
that.
so that they connect, and then twist it so that it goes round the other way. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Yes, nice. And now, not all the way. Back round the other way. So you want it
This is so good.
This is your Emmy moment,
No.
Tony.
like this, not like this, like this.
Wait, I'm
Yes.
going to start. I'm going to
Quarter
start
turn.
again.
1 quarter turn.
Right.
Nick off,
Right.
yeah, and then
So wait,
feed it
in
in
like
that way
that.
so that it goes between. Now twist it a quarter turn. Yeah, and now
Yes.
push it through the blades. You've got a very floppy bean.
This was picked today for you. This was picked today.
There's
Tell
something
you what.
wrong there.
Someone,
It's just not pushing through.
wait on.
No, don't take more off the top. Just
He's trying the other one.
Yeah, I'm going to try the other one because it's got an in and an out. Oh. I fucking give up. Jess, I give up. Fuck it.
right. Next week I'll have some beans. I will do a demo.
Right. I've had enough.
Here, it's
If I
just
was making tea for the kids, it would be like, you know what I mean? Take
I'm with
ages.
Jason. Get a knife. Jason's
Get a
saying,
knife.
"Get a knife." I'm with him.
But it's so quick and it's so simple and it's just like
Well, apparently not.
unless Tony's got it.
What am I
which
doing
case
wrong
it's
then?
the most complicated thing on the planet.
So the idea is you get it through a bit and then pull it through.
It
Yeah.
doesn't go through
Yeah.
though, JB. It stick. Now that
I'm
was
just asking. I'm just
that was a-
checking how it's meant to work.
actually I did
will
pick
demonstrate next
more
week, I
beans.
promise.
I did pick, but these ones are actually a little bit like old on the plant, so I don't know.
Yeah, that wouldn't go through, I don't think.
Leather.
It's got to be a
Leathery bean.
perfect. It's got to be a perfect. You've got to pick it on the perfect day, and have the perfect instrument. And it's messy
And not
hell.
have too much coffee that morning, or you're going to be jittery. Yeah.
Jess, I'm booking the train. I'm coming down. I want a bean tea made, right? And I just want to watch you make it because I cannot do that frigging thing. It's costing. That other one was £12, I think. You know what I mean? It's costing us a fortune, and I still haven't put one bean through a cutter. Next week.
It's a shame we're live. I've got a whole pot of shredded beans downstairs. I could show you the beautiful final outcome, but I'd have to leg it all the way down the stairs and come back again. And I was already late, so I'm not
So
going to do that. But I will show you next week.
Is this exactly the one you've got?
Don't pull that thing. Leave your fingers out of it. It's just like that. Perfect. That's the same as mine, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Strange.
But don't put your finger in that hole because it will get cut. It's slicey.
Well, it's going to stay there, and I will pick some next week as well. I'm not even getting I'm wasting the beans, and they should be eating them.
Just
I was-
mashed beans. Just
Yeah.
twisted and gnarled.
I was again chatting with when Ian mentioned we fantastic cabbages that I should. Is anyone else doing this? Just put a note on as well. Going to disinfect their greenhouses through the winter. Does anybody disinfect? Because Ian mentioned it, like best to do it like a certain percentage of hydrochloric acid. Do you know what I mean? I think it was like water it right down and do it with that. Because I said, I'll do it with GS fluid because I've got quite a lot of GS fluid. But he says it's probably best to do with like a new pump spray and just spray it down with like, I think it was like 4% hydrochloric acid. So
that probably makes sense given the bacterial infection that you've got on the tomatoes. Just
have you,
in case.
JB, have you ever done that? Like, no, just...
No, if I had the right or if I had something that was concerning me enough, I would look into that. But it would be, I mean, that's quite faffy, isn't it? That's quite like an actual gardening job. So I wouldn't really do it unless I absolutely had to. Too much like hard work. I managed to get away with the spider mites because the spider mites in the greenhouse was one I was really thinking like, do I need to get some nuclear deterrent in here like to stop them coming back? But I thought I'll give it one more season and see, and touch wood, there's still no spider mite damage. So sometimes you get away with things, but if it's something that threatens your entire,
I think it'll just be probably peace of mind as well. Do you know what I mean? And it wouldn't. I know it sounds faffy, JB, but it's just going to be. I'll just use one of them pumps. You know, you kind of pump it up and then you spray it around. So I don't think it'll take actual long. It'll make a good thumbnail and video title. You know what I mean? I'm kind of nuclear blasting the polytunnel, that kind of nonsense.
It's nice because you've got everything covered, so you don't have to worry about it like being soil borne or like impacting the soil or anything like that. You can just go.
I mean, I got a good crop, of tomatoes, but I'm kind of running out. You know what I mean? There's all the nice, like the heirloom ones. I haven't got any more. They're not producing anymore. So. But what I did notice, mind you, is I cut some off at the root. They've started to grow again fresh without any hindrance. But again, it's like we're coming in the bloody middle of August now. So, but my sucker plant, Audrey, is doing all right. You know what I mean? I've got flowers on and it's about 3 foot tall. So
I did see that. Yeah,
Yes.
it looks pretty good. Mine actually are almost setting fruit. So
right.
Yeah.
These are the suckers that you took off that actually had tomatoes on and were really called a tomato plant, and you just
No, you hush.
No.
The one that had tomatoes on it, I knew was too big. I thought, the roots are not going to sustain this, and there's fruit on it, and it didn't. But I got the tomatoes off it; they ripened beautifully. But the other two were the smaller ones, and they've kicked out all kinds of flowers, and I saw some little baby tomatoes on those this weekend. So yeah, we'll get some harvest. Yeah.
What I did notice though, I took a cutting off the Shirley, and it's took now. It's away. It had a little fortnight of like being uncomfortable, but you can see the molds creeping into the leaves, even on this like sucker one. Do you know what I mean? Which it's quite nice to actually watch it in, as it happens, sort of thing, so you can kind of see what's happening. But
yeah,
alas, that'll not last long. But I'm not touching them. I'm just kind of picking the fruit, and that's it. You know what I mean? But I will kind of disinfect or will spray. Just Jess, have you done any spraying like that? Have you disinfected anything or?
Yeah, we've had to do the greenhouse a couple of times. Previously, I'm talking like quite a few years ago now, whenever we got blight on the tomatoes, we used to wash the greenhouse out. It now turns out that it doesn't actually carry over from year to year, but at the time didn't know that. So yeah, we used to do a good old J's fluid attack. And I have actually one year done one of those smoke bombs in there, the ones that's really awful. But we'd had so much spider mite, and I can't remember what the other thing we had was, but it was it woolly aphid? The one that's all
the
like
mealybugs.
Yeah, it was just awful. Everything in there was just smothered. So we ended up having to clear it long before you would imagine. It'd probably be about this kind of time of year. It was just got too much, so we took it out and did a little nuclear bomb in there. But I think that's the only time I've ever really done. But I quite like it.
Did it work, Jess? That nuclear little? It's like a little triangle pyramid thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a little tiny, like a little smoke cone that you set light to. And I mean, yeah, I assume that's the reason that we didn't have them all the next year.
Nice.
But I mean, touch wood, they haven't come back. So, and that was years ago.
Did you see how excited Tony got when he asked you that? Because I can already see him going, I got to go to Amazon tonight and buy some.
Buy some lethal smoke cones.
To be honest, though, that polytunnel of mine, the door frames are certainly not square, so it would just kind of just bellow out. You know what I mean? Within like a few minutes, it would have gone disappeared into the atmosphere. So.
Yeah, I think we actually ended up. I think I'm trying to remember the year we did it. I think we like gaffer taped all around the door and everything to like keep it sealed to make sure that it didn't just leak out into everything.
That's intense. I would leak out all the holes in the polytunnel from the foxes.
Yeah.
Well, at least you can see. Yeah, you could see where they've dug their holes. It would come out of it. That'd be good.
Talking of the smoke holes, that was the most disappointing when I bought those smoke pellets to go down the rats' holes. Did you see that? Like, this was ages ago when I was having all the rat problems. It must have been the end of last year, I guess, when we had all the rat tunnels underneath the polytunnel.
Yeah.
I wanted to see where they went and if they were going into the chicken house. So I bought these smoke pellets, set them all off and put them down there and covered them up. And they lasted like about 9 seconds. I was expecting this like really long, like sort of 2-hour burn of smoke. And it was like, that was it. That was nothing. Most disappointing purchase. Yeah, we like put them down there and ran away thinking it was going to be something. It was a real damp squib. They don't get them.
Have we got anything else to chat about, or am I going spending money? Are we time for me to go and spend some money?
I tell you what, I got a quick question. Has anyone ever been to the David Austin Rose Garden? Looking mainly at you, Jessie. I don't think you would have taken the trip over to Shropshire, Audrey.
No.
Well, actually, if we go over this year, that's one of the places I want to go to.
Oh, nice. Very nice. We are going next week. Yeah, I'm very excited. Well, Jess is mostly excited, but I'm also quite excited to see. They're meant to be really, really good.
Oh, bring your plastic.
Bring my what?
Your plastic. Your credit card.
Oh, I was like
oh, I'm sorry. We call it plastic.
Bags to recycle?
No. Sorry, we call it plastic. Like,
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Yes, there will be, I'm sure, a few more roses in the garden.
Lovely.
Yeah, that's not what I was thinking.
It's quite far away, though, up in Shropshire. So it's a fair old trek for us, but going up.
Have you got
next
David
week.
Austin roses, Audrey, have you?
I had one. I purchased one. It died. It did not flourish. And so I have been refunded for that, and I'm buying a potted rose in the fall.
Nice.
This was a bare root that I bought, and I thought, you know what? I went out that door. We're going to get it potted.
So how did you
So
go
I
about?
will have a Gertrude Jekyll in my
I
garden.
love Gertrude Jekyll. It's beautiful.
Very
How did you
excited.
go about getting the refund, Audrey? Did you just ring them up, or did you?
Oh my goodness, they were
They're
like
really good.
they are so good. They were
Right.
like, just take a picture of it and show us. And I'm like, well, I also have a video of how I planted it, so you're welcome to look at both. But and so it was like no problem.
Right.
So I was very impressed with their customer service, and I think you get like 3 years or something.
Yeah. Wow.
Was it
Madame Alfred Carrier? Was that the one you had? Or was it Gertrude Jekyll?
Oh, it was. You say Jekyll? I'm just curious.
I think the gardener, Gertrude Jekyll, was called Gertrude Jekyll.
Okay.
Oh.
I didn't
I've
know
always
it
just
was
said
called
Jekyll as in Jekyll and Hyde, because I've never seen it. It's the only time I've ever seen it written.
Yeah, that's kind of why I got it. I thought, what a great name. So
That shut you up then. Well done, Jess. Well done. Got the name pronunciation right. These heathens.
Yeah, we learned something new today.
Well, that's all. I'm going to call Hugh Richards and find out which way is the proper way to pronounce it.
Do it.
Well,
so you had asked me a question about my rose, Tony. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I was just saying, was it David? You know, like an Austin one? You know what I mean? Because
yes, it was. Yes.
Little I know, my mum used to be in the kind of roses and everything like that. So that's all.
I was years and years ago, and I don't think I'd ever heard of a David Austin rose back then. But they could totally have been there. I just wasn't aware of them.
Mhm.
So when I saw these, I thought, oh, indeed, we're going to go there. They're beautiful.
You'll have to do a little
Oh,
video,
great company.
JB.
That's all I'm going to say. Their customer service,
Yeah.
really good. Really
Yeah,
good.
they are good. I did
Yep.
ping them a quick message the other day and asked if they minded if I was filming. And they were like, no, go ahead. Just don't be rude or obnoxious or anything. I was like, yeah, that's okay.
Scrolling around, look at all this.
I'll try to control myself.
I don't know why I think you film like this.
I
But
know. Old
why
camcorder.
It's like-
He's a pirate.
But yes, I don't think I'll do like a full tour video, but I'm sure we'll get some clips and I'll
Oh, that'd be nice to see, to be honest.
Gorgeous.
You know what I mean?
good.
Yeah.
I guess it's just a big nursery, is it? Is that how they kind of
Well, they have like a public rose garden and the national collection is there, and they've got like 4,000 rose varieties sort of on display in that. So I think it's all very picturesque more than I think it's more of like a show garden than a nursery, but I imagine they have a nursery part too. I really don't know what to expect, to be honest. There's some gorgeous pictures on the website, and I went, oh, that looks nice. Should we go there?
Well, I
Jess
can't
was like,
imagine
yeah.
after it being so beautiful, they're not going to give you an opportunity to take one home with you.
Yeah.
I mean, that would just be good marketing, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's where their main nursery is, if you know what I mean, because they must have some pretty industrial scale
Oh yeah.
nurseries.
Yeah. I don't even
But
know
yes,
how big
very
it is.
excited.
When did you say you were going?
We are going in this week, the end of this week.
Oh,
so
nice.
like Thursday or Friday. So yeah, like a few days.
And will it be a full
Nice.
day trip, JB, is it? Because it's...
Oh yes, yeah.
Is
Up
it?
to Shropshire is like, I slightly underestimated it. You know, like when you're planning an event in the future and you're like, oh yeah, that would be nice. We'll just pop up there, and then it gets a bit closer to the time, and you're like, that's like a 3.5 hour drive,
Oh, is
maybe
it?
a 4 hour drive there, and then 4 hours back. Audrey's probably like, that's nothing.
I was going to say that's not
That's
a day
down the
trip
road.
for you.
Yeah.
You have to
It's,
stop and take a nap and move on.
No, it'll be okay.
I mean,
It'll
that's
be
like
okay.
that's a hotel stay drive.
Yeah.
We
That's
did
a long-
Oh,
wonder,
that's
but
so cute. That really is
Um,
cute.
we're off to London to see a show as well this week. So
What are you seeing?
we're busy. We're going to watch Hades Town,
Oh.
which I've never seen before, and it's quite exciting. We don't really do that kind of thing, so we thought we'd have a
Bit
little
of
adventure
culture,
this weekend.
Bit of culture, lad.
Mm.
Keep the beard on, then you'll look, you know what I mean? Keep that
3.5
Pretty
hours, yeah,
hard.
I was just checking.
arts
3.5
festival.
hours.
Right then, listen, I'm calling it a
Yes.
day. Calling it a day.
Tents to buy.
Yes,
Tents.
everyone in the chat.
Here we
JB,
come.
where can we find you, Squire?
You can find me at Naturally JB on YouTube, Instagram, and Patreon.
There you go. Jess, where can we find you?
Crying amid the distraction on Plot 37. Yeah, on YouTube and Patreon and Instagram.
Audrey?
Real food comes dirty. YouTube, Instagram.com, and apparently also Facebook.
Well, that's lovely. Well, thank you, everyone. Everyone in the chat, thank you. If you want to join in the chat, that would be lovely. And just there's a link there to the Potty Mouth Patreon as well. Don't forget everyone else's Patreon. Audrey, get yourself a Patreon page, please. I will subscribe immediately if you did.
Oh,
See
well,
you
I'll have
next
to
week,
make it
everyone.
much more expensive. Okay.
Take
Thanks
care.
a lot.
Bye.
Bye.